Jose's ready to talk to us, so we'll get back to the hardware stuff. Jose, how you doing, man?
Hey.
I'm good. Yeah, so much to talk about. Thanks for having me and for this crazy setup to have me call in.
Yeah. Where are you?
Right now I'm in my hotel room, and my God, that Zelda trailer would not end. And
Absolutely
every
beautiful.
second of it was incredible, like in a way that I think we all needed. And it's just funny to troll the release date of Zelda that long and that hard.
That's not funny at
But when
all.
you saw it, no, it's not funny. You're playing with emotions.
Now, Jose,
This is
in our pre-show, I said mistakenly, I don't need to see any more Zelda. I'm sold. I'm good. That was a dumb thing to say.
Yeah.
Unless it's new
me
areas,
too.
and that's what
I
we
said
saw.
this thing. I was like, there's no way.
I saw Gorons and was like, let me take more of my money. Like, you can have all of it.
So now,
It had everything,
Yeah.
right?
Jose, how do you feel about the price and the structure of the different SKUs, the Joy-Cons? I want your take on some of the hardware news we got tonight.
Sure. I mean, I think it was really important to get a lot of the news out of the way early, and clearly they did that, right? Like Kimishima, first of all, like his first appearance to fans, like think about it. You've never seen Tatsumi Kimishima in a Nintendo Direct. He's always been the guy who looks very serious. And here, right on stage, and then there was this whimsical way that they started to sort of tell you, well, here's what the hardware is. And they got the good news out of the way, and they got the bad news out of the way. I think, for example, price, big important thing, $299. Date March 3rd is exciting, but is 2 million units enough for the month of March before fiscal? That doesn't sound great. Okay, but then move forward. These Joy-Cons, they have these wrist straps that are included that will sort of change their shape, and you can alter them a little bit. You know, there's this customization to the hardware that comes with the package.
Sure.
But then you have something like battery life between 2.5 hours and 6 hours. And so it was a
Supposedly
bit of a
3 for
mix,
Zelda.
but it got everything out of the way early, which was important, I think.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. It was sort of a little bit of a roller coaster there of being like excited for the release date, a little bit let down by the price, then finding out about the battery life, which is a roller coaster in and of itself. Alana, you just mentioned that there was a quick thing that said 3-hour battery life for
Correct.
Zelda.
Expected Zelda, yeah, 3 hours. But they also mentioned that it includes portable batteries and USB Type-C, which makes me think there are going to be third parties who will give us portable batteries so that we can charge on the go.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and if you played Pokemon Go like crazy last year, maybe you have some of those sitting around. Hopefully they work as well.
do.
But that seems to be the truth about battery life is it really depends on the game, right? Like I
Absolutely.
buy it like 6 hours for some of the indie games that we saw that don't push the hardware quite as hard. It's gonna be longer. But for Zelda and Skyrim and the Japanese subtitle said 3 hours for Zelda average playing time. So that's okay. That's not great, but that's exactly what we expected. So
Sure.
it wasn't
Yeah.
a big letdown for me.
They also said the device will capture video in the future, which maybe means streaming or YouTube services. That's
Yeah.
something that Nintendo have been pretty weird on in the past, is basically working with YouTubers. They've locked down a lot of content. Maybe the ability to capture video means that they are kind of building in their own video recording system that will make it more community friendly.
Yeah, what does that mean for storage?
Sure. Yeah,
We
true.
don't know that question.
Now,
We don't know the answer to that.
Jose, what do you think was the biggest surprise tonight?
Oh man. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I was expecting a name for Mario and a window for Mario, and we got one. Mario's not a launch game. Mario will be a big E3 game, right? I feel like it was a conference with a lot of ups and downs, but it started on a high note and it ended on a high note for the most part. I'm not sure if I have a big surprise per se, because I feel like I went in knowing what I was going to get, which was a really good look at what was in development for it. I mean, Splatoon 2, seeing them commit to this is a sequel was probably a surprise for me, just because Karen and I love
Xenoblade
that
2.
game.
What about
I mean,
Xenoblade?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Xenoblade, that being Xenoblade 2. Now remember, Xenoblade Chronicles, like Xenoblade Chronicles, I think was the original Wii game, and then we got a different one in the Wii U version, and they're unrelated. And now you have a Xenoblade 2, and I'm like, well, where does that fit? Is that after the Wii game or not? But regardless, that's a big game by Monolith Software, an RPG with a big hardcore audience a hardcore audience is going to love that style of a game. And it's a good showcase title too. I mean, once again, the scale is impressive, right?
Yes.
And to know that you're going to play that on the go is really, really cool.
Yeah, in terms of hardware, I was most surprised by the actual Joy-Con controllers themselves having HD motion controls that can apparently feel something as sensitive as ice moving in a glass.
Wasn't
And
that weird? Like the demo of
very
like the
odd.
ice cubes
Odd way to
falling
do
in.
it.
But it's like I mean I buy it. Nintendo introduced the console world to Rumble,
Yep.
right? And they did some really crazy stuff on the handhelds. Remember with WarioWare Twisted, where it really felt like you had the cheese grater, right? The
Yeah.
famous example. Like they're going to do some fun stuff
Yeah,
with this.
I mean,
right?
like we saw with 1-2 Switch, it seems to be able to detect range and also really accurately detect motion. I didn't expect that at all. This is basically Wiimotes, but infinitely more portable.
They're smart little controllers.
They are.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, for
Jose,
me,
what?
a more interesting thing that was a surprise to me was how many new faces we saw on that stage from Nintendo internally. I mean, you like I said, you kicked off with the president of the company, but then you had Shinya Takahashi, who's the head of all development. You had Koizumi, who's been leading the Mario team forever. Each first-party game had a different rep, and some of them were people you've never seen before. And I'm just like, oh, wow, this is the fresh new faces that this company needs to start using to their advantage to really like just show that Nintendo is not this traditional old company, like that they're going to be different, that they're going to evolve, that new people are going to come to the forefront. I think that surprised me a lot. I did not expect that going into this presentation.
I completely agree with that.
Am I crazy, or do we not see how these games are going to be made? Are they cartridges? Like, what are they?
Well, we do
are
know they're cartridges, yeah.
But they didn't show a single cartridge,
No,
right?
but I did check out a case that basically implied the size, and they almost look like they're 3DS size. They're
Yeah.
very small cartridges. We have no idea how they work.
What are they hiding?
Well, I wonder if this is maybe
hiding?
an
And
attempt
then
to
can
prevent.
I download them and fill up a hard drive?
So-
Like, those
Yeah.
are the questions that are still up in the air. I
Yeah.
They
can't
didn't
believe
talk
it.
about that, but they talked about one big surprise, and that Nintendo is going pay with online
Yes.
play, right?
Yes.
Like Nintendo has
Good point,
always
yeah.
touted free multiplayer. Now they're going to put that account system to good use and pull you in. Unfortunately, no word yet on whether our VC games port over or anything, but
They did also
there
mention
will be-
chatting with friends, so maybe
Yeah,
this is
there
the
will
first
be
time
more
that we will be able
invites
to
too.
voice chat.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, and this whole like try before you buy structure, where it's like, hey, you're going to have it for free for the first couple of months, and then we're going to start offering the pay version in the fall, which is convenient timing because that's when obviously the sales are going to ramp up, right? You're going into the holiday. That's when people are going to start spending a lot more money on hardware. It's a convenient story, but here's the thing. If it's a hard system to find, how many people are really going to get to try that free version? Once the paid version is out there, do you never get to use the free version? Like, are they going to do,
Good point.
for example, take SegaNet or take like Xbox Live. Having a free trial is really important on selling a consumer on if they're going to pay. If I'm going to plunk down $40 or $50 a year for your service, and I think that's really important, and they got to get to that.
I think especially for games like Splatoon, right? Splatoon is it had a single player campaign mode, but the heart of that game was in multiplayer, and they obviously also built a release structure where you would get new content updates over time, and they announced the same thing for Splatoon 2 already. So I feel like they will have to do that kind of introduction for a while, right? Nintendo has a very broad audience, and I think has a lot of players who don't play online, you know, in various markets.
Yeah.
So I gotta think they'll keep that grace period.
Yeah, here's the thing too. So let's talk about third parties because we've been kind of focused heavily on the first party stuff, right? Like, I think, for example, on MVC we call it Fire Emblem would make a great choice for a Tecmo Koei Warriors game. That's happening. That's cool. You had a Shin Megami Tensei like tease. It didn't give you an English name, so I have no idea by watching the presentation what that was.
It
Then you
just
have your
said-
Square Enix project Octopath Traveler. What is with the Square Enix name machine? Like they just
Never
flip the
stop.
switch.
Never
They
stop.
flip the switch and whatever comes out.
This
is the
game looks
title.
amazing.
Was that was
This
Atlas,
looks
right?
cool.
For Shin Megami Tensei, that was Atlas.
I see.
The Square Enix game was Project Octopath Traveler, which I'm trying to get my tongue around it because it's
Yeah.
almost part of a tongue twister. But then, the sizzle reel showed you some more, right? You had Minecraft in there. You had a Dragon Ball game in there. You had
No more heroes.
Farming
Dragon
Simulator,
Quest.
No More Heroes. That's right.
Yeah.
You had Suda on stage. Did he even announce a game? What was that?
No, that was a very odd segment, and I would have loved if it was a little bit better rehearsed. But he did show Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes, which is like kind of one of my favorite video game characters of all time. One of the first sort of violent, mature, M-rated games we saw taking advantage of motion controls on the Nintendo Wii. So the idea of that coming back with 3D motion, I believe they're calling it now, is really exciting to me.
HD motion, I think it
HD,
was.
3D,
Yeah.
HD, 4D, yeah.
HD.
Shut up.
You guys, that's what it's called, HD motion.
So
I,
when you guys-
I will not have two foreigners battle each other.
I'm not gonna hate on this. No, but you guys are forgetting one big little game that was shown that has me super excited. Like when you have multiple switches in a room, Bomberman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bomberman.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Super Bomberman R.
Ooh,
Did we also see Skylanders? Was Skylanders in there?
that was in there. We
Yes.
saw.
And we also saw Amiibo support is confirmed. So
Right.
we definitely have Amiibos.
And Skyrim looks surprisingly good.
It does. I think it's supposed to be.
I mean, I'm not saying that because I expect it to be weak. It's just because it already was looking really good in the HD remake, and it looks just as good.
It's supposed to be really similar to the 360 PS3 version, which I would believe. Like, I mean, it's not going to be the same version that recently came out on Xbox One and PS4, but I also don't care.
They upgraded it. I mean, the visuals are
looks
different,
better.
so it
There's
has
more
the
textures, I think.
it has the different coloring. The trees look different from
Sure.
the old ones.
Sure.
Will it have mods?
But I mean, they obviously didn't put the same name on it. So just like FIFA, which doesn't have a number in the title,
Yeah.
it's going to be a special version. Hopefully, that doesn't mean that you get one FIFA for 5 years and that's it for us.
Yeah, that would be really sad. No,
yeah.
I agree with you. What about 1-2 Switch and ARMS? I mean, like, you knew Nintendo was going to make a mainstream play. They are always going to do that. And it was weird to watch Twitter, because obviously the folks who I follow or who are tweeting at me are the hardcore fans, and they immediately tune it out. Were you guys intrigued by them? Were you weirded out by them? Did you not like them? I'm curious to hear what you guys think.
I think 1-2 Switch is the thing that makes this a family console again.
Yeah.
This is the thing my mom wants. This is the thing that she wants to play Candy Crush on when she's doing her exercise, and then wants to play with her friends and show them something really funny, like how much of a hit Wii Sports was, basically.
You know why it's going to be a hit? Because you no longer have to say, come over and play it. You can just go, I'll come over and we'll play it. Like I think this is going to be a killer app for them to reach the mainstream, because it's so, again, like they've removed one more friction point, and that's the stare at the TV to make something move. It's like now you have almost like a tabletop like party game extension where the TV is almost secondary.
Yeah,
right?
I think
like it's really, it looks clever and weird.
Yeah.
We'll see if it's fun, but I'm really intrigued by it.
It's a great idea to have a video game that isn't really a video game
Sure.
made by a toy company.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a fantastic concept, and with the motion controls and stuff like that, it seems like this is something that people of all ages can battle with each other. It didn't look like there was going to be anything that sort of would be prohibitive of that. Really cool
I agree
idea.
with you guys. Sorry, I just want to throw in. I think that have you guys ever played Johann Sebastian Joust? Anyone?
No.
Like that's a good
made up.
example of what this game is like to
that
me.
up.
Just a game that you're going to have a ton of fun with a bunch of people socially. You're going to look each other in the eye while you play it. That's a PlayStation Move game, by the way. It was part of Sports Friends. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was this awesome party game that you didn't really need a TV to play. You just grab some Move controllers, and there was this fun sort of rhythm to how it worked. I think this has that potential too. We'll have to see if it's fun.
Yeah, I mean,
What about-
it
what
is
about ARMS?
it is going to be a party game machine. I mean, like, just think of the games we saw, Splatoon, and then, my friend, we complained so much when Mario Kart 8 came out, and
I
it
know.
didn't have a battle mode, and guess what? They were driving around with balloons.
Yeah. So let's talk
Oh,
about
man.
ARMS real quick. The biggest troll of the night. I think many of us in the room were yelling "Red Dead." Clearly not
I
happening.
was shouting Wild Gunman.
Okay. Well, yes.
Oh, you went to.
Me too. Me too. Me too.
You too. So ARMS is probably my favorite video game title of the year, and it's early contender for one of
Name
the
don't lie.
Yeah, one of the goofiest video game titles. It's just true. It's straightforward. It's called ARMS. It's a game about arms. The arms are punching each other using their arms. I don't know who this is for besides everyone. It's kind of amazing. The art direction's really cool. I think some of us were sort of saying, why isn't this Punch Out? You've got this great license sitting right there. But that being said, this looks like a great example of what to do with the Joy-Con controllers. Motion controls are going to get, this guy's already sweating and he's in way better shape than me. Motion controls are obviously, things are going to get very heated here. I think real life fights, this game's going to be called Harms eventually. But this is this is a fighting game, you know? Like
Doesn't this seem like it's going back to Wii? Like this could be
This
a
is
Wii
definitely
game.
Wii.
Yeah.
And what did the public like? The Wii.
I was gonna say-
and the Wii U was nothing like the Wii.
Nothing like it. There was
so
a section.
This is really good.
Yeah.
that
There
they
was a
can show
section in
off.
this live show between 1-2 Switch and ARMS that was absolutely calling back to the old motion days of playing Wii Sports with your friends for the first time, which is now so long that people have nostalgia for it. So I think the idea of
Exactly.
having a party
Exactly.
system like that again makes sense.
But the story is so cool because they went through all the systems. And they said, remember NES, remember Super NES. And it's like they took a little piece from each one of them and they put it all together and they built a console that can run all the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can run all the games.
Absolutely. Now, Jose, you're on the phone, but tomorrow you're actually going to be hands-on with the Nintendo Switch. One of the first people in the world, one of the few people in the world that was alluded to by Reggie earlier. What does your day look like? What are you playing? What do you think? What is this gonna be like to actually hold this thing for the first time?
So I don't know what I'm playing yet, but I would assume a lot of the stuff that you saw, obviously, in that video. In terms of, yeah, it's exciting to get your hands on a new Nintendo console, right, and just see what it's capable of doing, seeing this form factor. I'm curious to try just holding a Joy-Con left or right by itself for the first time, because I have big hands. I just want to see how comfortable that is. How does it feel in your hands? Nintendo hits a certain standard in terms of how their devices feel,
Yeah.
and sort of the sort of just they never feel chintzy, they never feel cheap. I'm eager to find out for myself and see more of how the software feels. I'm going to be dueling against people tomorrow in 1-2 Switch. Like, that's going to be weird, but I'm going to try and have a good time with it and just see where and what stands out. And hopefully, I mean, to me, the thing I'm going to be most looking out for is, rumors going into this conference where the minute it's undocked and the minute it's not running on portable juice, the performance on some of the games can and probably will take a hit. I hope that they have the confidence to let us see that, because if we can't unplug it, that's going to be a problem. I think we need to get that experience just as much as we need to touch the controller and play the games. I think that letting people see the portable mode for what it is a crucial step for them.
Excellent.
For sure. Are you sad you don't get to play Mario?
I mean, you never know. A stage or two could be there. I have no idea what's there yet. I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, they kind of alluded that you won't get to play it yet.
Yeah, well, we'll get it this fall. Probably get to play it at E3. Jose, I'm so excited to see what you get to play tomorrow. All your hands-on videos. This is a globally coordinated thing between all of IGN, Japan, UK, AU, America. So thank you so much for being on the ground for this. Thank you so much for calling into us. We're just beginning our coverage of the Nintendo Switch, and we're going to continue our show right now. So, Jose, good luck tomorrow.
Have fun, man.
Get some sleep,
Thanks.
dude.
Get some pizza.
Thanks, guys. Have a good show, and definitely I'll be back with more stuff. And yep, see ya.
Get the thing.
Bye.
All right.